Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of our Q2FY26 series. And in this series, we are going to be talking about a very new company, जिसका listing हुआ था just in the last quarter. The company's name is Crizac Ltd. So we will talk about this company. We will see, what the business model is like, how has a Q2, result been, how are the cash flows, valuations, and what you can expect, for the upcoming year and this year that is there. Okay, so we will talk about this in detail. I will start by sharing the screen because this is one company I think I've never covered this in my channel. So I will share the screen and I will start. Okay. And before we go over here with Crizac, I will say one thing is before you go off in the comment section telling that video clarity is not that great. If I have to share a screen, I will have to do it via my MacBook. And as you know, MacBook, if you compare a MacBook and an iPhone, obviously MacBook ka quality itna, the camera quality is not that great, so you will have to bear with me for that. Okay, but anyways, first let us understand कि like ये Crizac जो है ये क्या करता है, what is the business model like. Okay, so if you look at Crizac is basically a platform. Okay, एक platform जहाँ पे colleges and the applicants that are there, basically ये एक platform है जहाँ पे students can apply to universities. Okay, एक middleman है जो यूनिवर्सिटीज और स्टूडेंट्स को कनेक्ट करता है, ठीक है. एंड दिस इज द मोस्ट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ इसके ऊपर हम लोग थोड़ा डीपर जाएंगे कि लाइक हाउ डू दे कनेक्ट दिस यूनिवर्सिटीज, हाउ डू दे कनेक्ट द स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे इनका क्या एडवांटेज है, व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज ऑफ अ स्टूडेंट, व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज ऑफ अ यूनिवर्सिटी, व्हाई डू दे हैव टू गो वाया दिस. ओके, नाउ यहाँ पे अभी क्या होता है, थिंक अबाउट दिस. Crizac, like I told you, it is a place which connects a university or student. This is what they do. Okay, now you might see कि like एक जो student होता है, they might want to go and study abroad. Okay, कुछ maybe they want to do their masters or their undergrad, whatever field it is. It could be engineering, finance, whatever. Right? It is a very traditional thing, especially in India. We see a lot of people do their undergrad. उनका B.Tech या उनका B.Com कर लेता है इंडिया में, and then they go to abroad, M.Tech, masters करने के लिए, because of better opportunity. Now एक student, if they want to apply to a university, they won't apply to one alone, right? Because आपका probability of selection, is very low. If you apply to one university, क्या करता है, एक student will apply to 10 to 15 universities, right? But now think about this, एक 10 to 15 universities के लिए apply करने के लिए क्या क्या है, because सब universities का deadline जो है, application का deadline is अलग होता है, right? सब यूनिवर्सिटीज का क्राइटेरिया अलग होता है. मे बी सम यूनिवर्सिटी वांट a 7 CGPA, some other university want an 8 CGPA, some university would need extra curricular activities, some university might not need it. So everybody's one application का criteria अलग होता है. Now as a student, it might be difficult for you to keep a track of all these, if you're applying for 15 universities. So you might want somebody who will help you to streamline everything, who will help you कि भाई क्या क्या documents चाहिए, कब इसका यूनिवर्सिटी का एप्लीकेशन का लास्ट डेट है कट ऑफ के लिए, somebody to come. So एक स्टूडेंट के लिए Crizac is that medium of platform or that platform where they have somebody to talk to and help them segregate all of this. So क्या करते हैं, एक स्टूडेंट आता है, they would want to study in UK में, they want to do their masters, they come to Crizac will connect you to an agent. ये यहाँ पे Crizac का प्लेटफॉर्म में इनका प्लेटफॉर्म में they have around 3,000 odd agents. Every agent will be connected to a student who will help them अंडरस्टैंड के लिए किस यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए ये एप्लीकेशन, ये डॉक्यूमेंट सब चाहिए. ओके, on the other hand, now this is the student part of it. Like I told you, what Crizac के पास 100 agents है, and this Crizac is a middleman between the student and between कौन है, ये universities. Okay, so how does this now help the university? ठीक है, यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए क्या है. Now think about this, एक यूनिवर्सिटी में if there is a masters in computer science का एक प्रोग्राम है, now that program will only have 10 seats, not sorry 10 क्या 100 seats है एक लेक्चर में, एक क्लास में, but उसके लिए there might be around 2,000 people applying for that 100 seats. Now as a university it becomes difficult for you to segregate and sort out through this 2,000 applications. So ये Crizac को क्या करता है, ये Crizac को ये काम देता है कि these universities they hire Crizac कि ये उनको बोलते हैं कि भाई अगर इस कोर्स में मेरा कॉलेज में if the student wants to enroll, I need so and so criteria for them, I need for them to be 8 CGPA minimum, I need ये projects, ये बोल के Crizac को करता है. Then Crizac क्या करते हैं with all the universities, they connect the students के भाई देखो इस they help the university in the sense कि they only select that crema de la crema. Okay, and now क्या होता है, now now the university will get that exact criteria that is needed for you, for them to, for them to register. Usme, they will select some people and give them the admission. Okay. How it helps the universities? Because university doesn't have the time, because when people are applying to the students are applying to the university, they might see ki, minimum cutoff to enroll in a program is 8 CGPA. And some people kya hota hai, they might be like, अरे मेरा तो 7.8 है, who knows, मैं apply कर देती हूँ, 8 CGPA only 0.2 का difference है, मेरा apply कर देती हूँ. And the university might not like it. So what they want is, they will get only applications of the exact data that they are looking for, and उसमें से वो select कर लेता है. So this is how it works. This is how the entire business model works. I hope you understand now what Crizac does. Now यहाँ पे एक और चीज है, Crizac will only help you with आपका application process, for enrolling in a university, only and only with that. Because when a Indian student क्या होते हैं, when they go abroad for studies, there are many things, right? आपको पहले तो admissions लेना है, उसके बाद आपको visa है, then you have your transportation, accommodation, and all of these things the student has to look out for. Crizac will not help you with your visa application, आपका आपका transportation, accommodation, none of it. Crizac will only and only help you, will only help you with this entire enrolling in a particular university. That is it. Okay. Now यहाँ पे, how does Crizac make money? I think you understood कि like ये क्या करता है ultimately, but how does Crizac make money? That is very, very important. Okay. Now Crizac क्या करता है? Now like I told you, Crizac is not hired by the students. As a student, if I am a student, I have to apply for a master's program and I go to Crizac, right? I don't have to pay Crizac anything. Crizac will not charge a penny from the student. So how does Crizac make money over here? Because they're basically a middleman, एक agent है उनका platform है. How do these people make money? Crizac is hired by these foreign universities. Okay. Now, like I told you, let's say for example, UK mein, there are like 10-15 universities. Okay. And they have like, I want foreign students in my program. So they will give, so all these foreign universities that are there, they will hire Crizac ke like, bhai, I can't sit and, vet through, 2000 applications that are there. See, if they want to join my masters in computer science, they want to join some masters in finance program, ये criteria है. तो मुझे, how many ever students you have in your platform, you give me application of only those students that pass through this criteria. Okay. So these people are hired, by the university, not by the student. Again and again, this is a very, very important distinction to make over here. Please इसको ध्यान से सुन लीजिए, because अगर आपको ये चीज समझ में नहीं आता है, then like I told you, business model is the most important thing. If you don't understand the business model, you will not understand the cash flows, and most importantly, you will not be able to understand the risk that is involved. So these people, what they do, they're hired by these universities, to find these applicants, to find students for their program, who could be. Now, let's say, for example, there is an XYZ university, okay, and they hire Crizac, and Crizac gives them, around 1,000 applications data hai, and out of that 1,000 application, let's say that XYZ university chooses 200 applicants to, register for their program, okay, to enroll for the masters in finance program. Now, out of these 200 people, that the university will send now a confirmation letter, like, congratulations, you have been accepted, to this so and so university. And and that is how. Now after these people send an offer letter to the student, a student will have 1 month to decide if they want to join the program or not. Now, within this 1 month, if a student decides, like, yes, I want to join this XYZ university, wo kya karte? Student will pay the tuition fees to the university. Again, Crizac ka only thing is to find these applicants, to find the students, to help the students sort out, कि like उनको बोलना कि like, ये है आपका deadline, to apply to these universities. They collect all the documents from the students. They make sure उसका profile में क्या क्या डालना है. They do the background check on this profile कि like, जो भी documents उन्होंने दिया है वो सही है या कि नहीं. And they submit it to किसको? They submit it to the university. ठीक है. उसके बाद the university will conduct, उनका special interviews and all will होता है ना कि like उनका process होता है, उनका interviews होता है, and after that, whatever, let's say 1,000 applicants, they will select another few applicants that is there. Not necessary कि like जो भी उन्होंने applications, Crizac has submitted to the university, all of those applications will get selected. Out of that, again, एक screening process होता है university का खुद का. Out of that, few will be selected, and then they will send an offer letter to the student. Again, Crizac का सिर्फ one way है. They will only help they will only submit the application. After that, it is the university that is in touch with the student. It is not Crizac. Crizac का only thing is कि like भाई application को collect करो, application को universities को भेजो. That is it. Okay. After that, it is the university that will send the offer letter to the students, and obviously Crizac will get to know ki, like many unko 1000 applicants I have submitted to them. Out of this, how many people got, how many people were sent enrollment letter, how many people were sent a confirmation letter ki, like yes, you have selected. Out of, let's say, this 200 people that have been sent a confirmation letter ki, like aapko, you have been admitted to the XYZ program. Out of this, how many people have made the payment and they have confirmed the seat? इसको ये डेटा किसको मिलता है? Crizac को मिलता है यूनिवर्सिटी से, ठीक है, उनको ये डेटा मिलता है. Once the student pays the fees to the university, like let's say now उनका 15 lakhs per annum है एक student का fee, ठीक है, they pay to the university, and once the university collects the fees, उसका एक परसेंटेज, सर्टेन परसेंटेज, उसका एक कमीशन Crizac को मिलता है. दिस इज हाउ Crizac मेक्स मनी. ओके, द यूनिवर्सिटी pays the Crizac. Now, like I told you, Crizac will not make money as long as that student that is there pays the university. Crizac can send 1000 applications, for a particular university for a particular program. Out of this, the university might select 200 people. They might send them an offer letter. Out of these 200 people, how many people will accept ये offer letter and they make a tuition fees का payment करता है, उसका part of that payment Crizac will get. Crizac will pay its agents after that, and whatever is बचा हुआ रहता है उसका profit Crizac को मिलता है. Crizac का भी अपना ही agents है who will talk to the who are like I told you, who are this Crizac agents hai, who will talk to the students, collect all the information from them, prepare their data, prepare their profile, send it to the universities. These Crizac agents will be in touch with the universities, trying to constantly get a feedback from the universities ki, like kaun se profile chahiye and everything. So this is how Crizac agents also make money. So I hope now you understand how Crizac makes money and how the business model works. Like I'm telling again and again, Crizac will not charge a penny from the students. Students ke liye, it is absolutely, they do not have any headache. Okay, students ke liye kuch bhi, what is that? Students will not have to pay anything. Students are absolutely clean over here. It is a university that employs Crizac, in order to vet the students, vet the applications, and they want only they don't want to go through 2000 3000 application that comes for them in a year. They want the selected applications. Out of the 2000, Crizac will filter it, and they will get to universities will select, and then this is how they make money. I hope you understand this. Okay, so this is basically the business model of Crizac. Okay, now agar main baat karu, I hope you guys can understand, and I hope it's not tedious. ये आप pause करके देख सकते हो उसका journey, how this entire Crizac company was started and where it is right now. Okay, now इसका demand क्या है? Like, why is this thing having so much demand? Is because if you look at going abroad and studying, I think that is one of the most common phenomena. I think at least if you graduated from university, you would know everybody prefers to study abroad. That's like a huge phenomena. And agar aap dekhte ho yahan pe, if you look at the number of international students that are going, coming into study in other countries, you see it is India and China are like the predominant countries jahan pe students jo hote hain bahar jaake padhna pasand karte hain. theek hai, you can see over here by source country 23%. agar main baat karu, if let's say if somebody has to go in UK and study, wahan pe 23% kis nationality ka log aate hain? India se aate hain. So the demand is immense, right? Immense demand hai, because har ek aadmi, at least I would say 40 to 50% of a people who graduate from a university, they want to go abroad and study and settle over there, because of a better way of life. Followed by kaun hai? China, Vietnam, all of these countries. But predominantly kaun sa do country hai? China and India. Similarly, which is the destination that these students prefer? First is actually, agar aap dekhte ho, if you look at it, the most common preferred destination is US. Why US is a common preferred destination is, agar aap dekhte ho India mein there are two streams. Either aap, think about it, right? All of our parents, either they want us to be engineers or doctors, ya varna CA, right? So which is the common preference? One is the STEM, and the other one is your aapka finance and other backgrounds. STEM ke liye, when you have to do for science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which is that field, which is the preferred country? US, right? Because US mein you have you have that Google, Facebook and everything. You have so many engineering companies and everything. anything, right? So STEM people prefer mostly US ka countries, and India may you have more engineering colleges than people, I believe, right? That is unfortunately the reality of our country. So kya hota hai, because of these reasons US is like the first preferred destination. Second preferred destination is UK, and after that आपका Canada, Australia, New Zealand वो होता है. This is general. मैं इसका नहीं बोल रही, I'm not talking about Crizac, but I'm just telling generally मतलब कितना which is a country that sends more number of students from its country to study abroad, which is India is the maximum, followed by China. Similarly कौन सा country है जहाँ पे ज्यादा acceptance है, कितना international students कहाँ पे ज्यादा है? US, followed by UK, followed by Canada, followed by other countries like Australia and New Zealand. Similarly अगर आप देखते हो कि like अगर एक स्टूडेंट जो है वो बाहर जाता है, if they go out to study, where is their maximum उनका एक्सपेंस कहाँ पे आते हैं? ट्यूशन फीस, राइट? एक उनका ईयरली साल का जो कॉलेज का फीस होता है, दैट इज वेयर द मैक्सिमम दिस थिंग कम. सो यू अंडरस्टैंड कि लाइक यहाँ पे ये एंटायर ये एप्लीकेशन को बनाना एंड एवरीथिंग दिस एजेंसी का थ्रू में जाना, how lucrative of a business that is there. अगर हम क्राइसैक के बारे में बात करते हैं, लाइक ये मैं बाद में आती हूँ. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट क्राइसैक क्राइसैक कहाँ से ऑपरेट करते हैं, लाइक द स्टूडेंट्स जिसका एप्लीकेशन ये लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, from which country are they? Okay, if you look at Crizac, 50% of the students are from India. Okay, the 25% of the students are from Africa, African continent. The other 25% of the students इनका जो platform में है, they are from Southeast Asian countries and आपका China. Southeast Asian countries मतलब आपको ये Vietnam, Malaysia, all of that regions, and China together, that is 25%. So ये Crizac जो है, although it is started in India, they are headquartered in India. इनका जो platform है, it caters to multiple countries, not just India alone. And the second thing about Crizac is इनका जो agents है, the agents are not just in India. India में ज़्यादा agents है because 50% of the students are coming from India, and the other agents are also in Africa and China and this other Southeast Asian countries. और एक चीज़ है, these people have localized the agents over here, so it becomes easier to communicate with the students. Okay, so this is the source. मतलब आपका students का source कौन से countries है? India, Africa, China and Southeast Asian countries. उसमें India से 50% of the students are coming to your platform. ठीक है? Now, second is host countries. Now let's say for example, like I told you, Crizac makes money by the universities or from the universities. The universities pays Crizac, right? So Crizac का whichever universities they are connected it, ये कौन से country में है? 90% of the universities that has employed Crizac, to vet the applications, these universities are in the UK. So UK से उनको 90% of the revenue आता है. UK का colleges से 90% of the revenue आता है. This is coming down because last year उनका UK से आ रहा था 95%, अभी 90% आ रहे हैं in this year. Followed by Ireland. Ireland contributes 7%, so 7% of the revenues जो है आता है Ireland का colleges से. Followed by आपका Australia, New Zealand, which are the few countries. वहाँ से थोड़ा कम ही आते हैं, hardly 1%, but you understand UK is like the big deal over here. ठीक है? So this is basically Crizac का business model. Okay, this is what they do. Okay, इनका like you can see these people are agents, right? Out of this you can see, right, it totally उनका 2,200 plus 1,700, so that's roughly almost 4,000 that is there. So यहाँ पे ये active agents है, ठीक है? Which means active agents का मतलब क्या? Agents who are like क्या बोलते हैं, agents who are there only working for Crizac. One second guys. Because यहाँ पे अगर मैं agents का बारे में बात करूँ, like the agents are not just working for Crizac alone. Agents could be working for like multiple platforms that are there. They could be working for Crizac. There could be another platform also there could be working. So totally उनके पास 13,500 agents हैं. But these 13,500 agents doesn't necessarily mean they're working for Crizac alone. So this number that we are seeing, the active agents that is there, these are the agents from whom Crizac has received the applications. Okay, there could be 13,500 agents on your platform, but not necessarily necessarily कि like every agent is giving you, 500 applications in a month or so. It is only this 4,000 odd agents that are there from whom they have received the applications, of the students that is there. Okay. Out of this, you can see 2,237 agents are based out of India, India se hai, and the other, from the rest of the world, which is आपका, आपका African countries such as Kenya, Nigeria, आपका Southeast Asian countries like, Vietnam, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, China, and so forth. Now, obviously, India में ज़्यादा agents होगा because in your platform, 50% of the students that are coming are from, our country, that is India, that is there. Okay. So this is ये agents का है. Okay. Now, इस business का क्या seasonality है? Is there any seasonality in the business? Like I told you, now you understand मैं क्यों बार-बार बोलती रहती हूँ कि like भाई business model को समझो. अगर business model नहीं समझते हो, then you will not make sense of, head or tail of anything, right? Remember what I told. Crizac makes money. How Crizac makes money? Once the student accepts the offer letter, he or she makes a payment to the university, and since after they make the payment, the university will pay a certain commission to Crizac, which will be a, let's say if the tuition fees is probably 30 lakhs per year, us 30 lakh ka thoda commission, Crizac ko milega. We do not know what is the percentage of commission that they charge, kya hai, because I think it depends on the university, it depends on the course, because sometimes, you could be going to, like, let's say agar aap Cambridge mein ja rahe ho, which is there in the UK, वहां पे आपका साइंस के लिए अगर आपको कोई भी फील्ड में अगर आपको एक साल का भर्ती करवाना होता है, then आपको obviously your tuition fees will be higher compared to, let's say, tier 3 college in the UK. So I do not know exactly how much. This is one thing they are not disclosing. They're not disclosing, what is the percentage of commission that they're charging. I think because there is a huge variation depending on the university, depending on the course and everything. Okay. Now, when do you think, now I hope, okay, coming back over here, when do you think these universities will make money? They will make money when, when it is the time to, admit a student. अगर आप US, UK, Australia, New Zealand देखते हो, most of them have two admission cycle. एक admission cycle होते हैं July और September, एक fresh साल start होता है. Then the other cycle is, in the winter cycle, which is, Jan और Feb में एक और intake होता है, एक और admissions होता है, right? So एक साल में there will be two admissions. One is the winter admission and the other one is the autumn admission, which happens over here. So obviously, if you're going in a Jan or February में आप एक student जा रहे हो वहाँ पे पढ़ने के लिए, you are going in the winter cycle, you make payment कहाँ पे? Somewhere in the month of November या December में आप payment करते हो. Similarly, if you go in the autumn intake, which is July or September, then probably you make money in, you'll pay it around in that time. So क्या होता है? Because of this, if they don't make, the student doesn't make the payment to the university will not pay Crizac and Crizac will not make money, right? As simple as that. And यहाँ पे कब होते हैं? Most of the admission cycle जो होता है, it falls under Q4 का quarter या Q3 का quarter. So that is why you will see these two quarters are the best quarters, because this is when the admission cycle opens for a new, for a new batch, right? That is when it opens. So this is why Q3 and Q4 are the best. And यहाँ पर भी आप देख सकते हो 30% of the admissions जो होता है, it happens in this. So 30% of the revenues जो इनका होता है ना, 30% of the revenue that Crizac makes happens in Q3, 40% of the total year का revenue happens in Q4, followed by 20% in Q1 and 10% in Q2. Okay, Q2 is the leanest quarter because in some universities in Australia and New Zealand, उनका June में भी एक cycle होता है, एक admission cycle होता है. So that is why over here, but the majority, since उनका 90% of the revenue is coming from where? 90% of the revenue is coming from the UK. And in UK, if you look at it, there are two main admission cycle. One is the autumn admission cycle and the other one is the winter intake. इसके वजह से ये seasonality आता है business में. So right now, when we will be looking at Q2 का, updates that is there, please keep in mind that Q2 is the leanest quarter of the entire year. Okay. So I hope you understood कि like, business क्या है, business का seasonality क्या है and everything. Okay. So right now, let us go. I think right now everything is clear. I think nobody, as of now, you will have a doubt over here with the business model. पहले क्या करते हैं? Let us go and understand the Q2FY26 result. Okay, Q2FY26 में you will see that the sales is up by 24% both in Q2 on Q2 as well as H1 on H1. अगर आप पैट के बारे में देखते हो, पैट is up by 1.4x in Q2 and 54% half yearly में. EBITDA margin has improved and this is quite a shocker because उन्होंने when they came for IPO and उन्होंने first con call किया in Q1 of this year, they told they're striving to maintain an EBITDA margin of 25%. So आपने guidance दिया EBITDA margin का 25% के लिए, but you did 35%. That goes to show you कि like इनका बहुत अच्छा चीज चल रहा है यहाँ पे. So this is a really positive thing. Here, one thing you will have to understand is कि like if you look at Crizac, it is a platform at the end of the day, right? Which is like connecting a student and a university. Now, a lot of people understand कि like platform में आपका operating leverage is crazy, like because आपका fixed cost is less. Like think about it. Like I'm also running a platform business, right? Like my platform is क्या? Equity research program where I sell a course. But think about it. मेरा payment सिर्फ one time ना, because I am paying domain का fees one time. I am paying website का maintenance fees one time. That is one time. But after that, irrespective of how many of your people come and buy the course, right? That can go up to infinite level, right? You can go like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 भी मेरा course खरीदे, पर मेरा cost क्या है? मेरा cost is only once, क्योंकि मैं एक साल में एक ही बार मेरे domain का fees भरती हूँ, साल में एक ही बार मेरे website का maintenance का fees होता है. So the operating leverage is infinite, no matter how much. Because how is operating leverage infinite? Because my fixed cost is the same. My fixed cost is the same. I do not have much of a variable cost. Variable cost is also like is there is no much variable cost, right? Because क्या होता है, the amount of people buy the course, उसके हिसाब से मेरा कोई भी cost ऊपर नहीं जा रहा. Variable cost is the same only. So इसके वजह से क्या होता है, platform business में आपको operating leverage is a lot. Okay, like another good example is आपका black buck that is there, right? Black buck में क्या है, people, आप कितना भी ट्रकिंग पीपल will use your platform, आपका cost is the same ना, whether it is 100 people, 200 people या 3,000 people at the end of the day. Similar, but here it is ulta. Okay, here it is ulta. आपका कितना रेवेन्यू बढ़ेगा उतना आपका कॉस्ट भी बढ़ेगा. बिकॉज क्या होता है, हाउ डू दिस पीपल मेक मनी? दिस पीपल, हाउ, हु आर द मेन पीपल ओवर हियर? यू नीड द एजेंट्स. जब तक आपका एजेंट्स एप्लीकेशन नहीं लाएगा, आप वो कॉलेजेस को सबमिट नहीं करोगे. सो द मोर नंबर ऑफ एजेंट्स यू हैव, मोर नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस यू विल हैव, राइट? सो आपका रेवेन्यूज बढ़ने के लिए आपको एजेंट्स ज्यादा लाने पड़ेगा, स्पेशली एक्टिव एजेंट्स, राइट? एंड एक्टिव एजेंट्स का सबको एक कमीशन देना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो दैट इज द थिंग. सो इसके लिए यू कैन नॉट, इनका दैट इज द thing. Please don't think iska operating leverage will be to the likes of any other platform businesses like Zomato, आपका ये what is that, India Mart, Intermesh, Blackbuck and all. यहाँ पे operating leverage उतना नहीं मिलेगा because इनका variable cost will go up with the revenue. Higher amount of revenue because more number of applications they process, more enrollment can happen in the universities, and more more enrollment can happen means more universities will pay Crizac more, right? That is how it works. But यहाँ पे उस application को बढ़ाने के लिए you will need more number of agents, right? Because without agents आप काम नहीं कर सकते हो यहाँ पे, right? You're highly dependent on the agents to collect these applications. So that is the thing over here. Okay, अभी हम जाएंगे यहाँ पे the cash flows के लिए. One second, I have to go here. हाँ, कंसोलिडेटेड में हम जाएंगे. So यहाँ पे you can check for you can check for your current asset by current liability, आपका quick ratio and all of that stuff. But let us go directly to the cash flows because that's what is important. Now यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो net cash flow that is there, that has become negative over here. ठीक है, last time it was a positive of 35 crore, but now you will see it has become negative of 71 crore. ठीक है, now ये क्यों हुआ? Why has this happened? Because if you look at over here, the profitability of the business has gone up, right? Last time 83 crore कर रहा था half yearly में, इस साल 126 करोड़ किया, right? Which is almost up by like 60% in that range. So how is that profitability went up so much on a half yearly basis? But if you look at the cash flows over here, cash flows is negative, right? Why did that happen? Now you will see over here that entire thing comes down to कहाँ पे आपका यहाँ पे ये working capital में थोड़ा गड़बड़ है. पहला चीज आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे अदर लाइबिलिटीज जो है. नाउ आई डू नॉट नो व्हाट इज दिस अदर लाइबिलिटीज, दैट हैज गॉन अप बाय अ ह्यूज अमाउंट. लास्ट टाइम ये 2.2 करोड़ था, from 2.2 crores, it has gone up to 41 crore, which is a big deal over here. So that, because see, you're making 128 crore, sorry, kya tha wo? 126 crore. 126 crore में आपका 41 crore is, other liabilities. Now, इसका उन्होंने जवाब नहीं दिया in the con call, because one person had asked, but I think they forgot to answer it over here. ठीक है. Other than that, you will see the other big line item over here is this, what do you call this? ये ट्रेड पेएबल्स जो है, लास्ट टाइम 38 करोड़ का ट्रेड पेएबल्स था, अभी 94 करोड़ का ट्रेड पेएबल्स. ट्रेड पेएबल्स मतलब क्या? ट्रेड पेएबल मींस यू हैव पे, मतलब क्या? आपको किसी और को पैसा देना है ना, दैट इज हाउ इट वर्क्स. You pay means you have to pay somebody. Receivables means what? You have to get the money, right? As simple as that. You have, if you can understand, and if you guys want to understand this entire cash flows को देख कैसे देखते हैं, how to connect with the growth, please get the investment checklist workshop. Everything is explained seamlessly over there. Okay. Now यहाँ पे how does receivable कहाँ से आता है Crizac को? Receivables का मतलब, think about it. Receivables means what? If I am Crizac, what is receivables? I have to get money. From where do I get money? I get money from where? From the universities. So that is my trade receivable, which means what? I have given a product, I have given a service to a certain person, but for that service I have not gotten the money over here. So यहाँ पे क्या है? Crizac has given, they have sent the applications. उस applications में some students have enrolled in the universities, right? उन्होंने students have paid the tuition fees, but the university has not paid, Crizac. This is the trade receivables. So यहाँ पे trade receivables कब बढ़ता है? When the university has not paid Crizac for the services that they have provided. Crizac का trade payables कब बढ़ता है? Crizac किसको पे करता है? Crizac agents को पे करता है. So trade payables कब बढ़ता है Crizac का? When they haven't paid their agents, for the work that they have done over here. Now think about it, basic thing. If जो मैंने सर्विस किया, अगर उसका मुझे पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है, तो my cash flows will become negative ना. Like that is as basic as that, right? Because I've given the service, उसके लिए मुझे पैसा नहीं मिला है. On the other hand, when does cash flow also become positive over here? I have to give somebody the money, but मैंने नहीं दिया. So I've kept it all with myself. मेरे account में वहाँ पे पैसा पड़ा है, right? That is when trade payables becomes positive. So over here, what I don't understand is, if you see, the trade receivable has come down, right? Trade receivables अगर आप देखते हो, last time was 34 crores. Last time 34 crores है. This time, it has decreased from 34 to abhi 17, right? But the trade payables has increased. Trade payables has gone from 38 to 94, which means what? University ने आपको पैसा दिया, but you haven't given the what do you call that? You haven't given your agents. So technically, if you see, it's supposed to be positive over here. So I do not understand कि like इनका क्या scene है यहाँ पे, because why hasn't, like, if the trade payables has to go up, like I don't understand why is it the cash flows are not making sense for me. Like, why is your receivables not increased? Because उनका बोलना था, con में उनको बोलना था कि like, the universities that we have worked with, there has been a delay in payment, we haven't got the payment, but इसके वजह से हमने, our trade payables has gone up because of the same reason, right? Because we haven't paid our agents because of that, and इसके वजह से हमारा, this net cash flow has become negative. But for me, this entire, I don't know, I am finding it very hard to understand, first of all, this entire cash flows. Because if your trade payable has been gone up by this amount, even the receivable should have gone up. The second thing is, agar trade payable itna बढ़ रहा है, then it should turn, cash flow should have turned positive. It shouldn't turn negative. Like that is something that I don't understand. And other than that, you'll see that, there is nothing much in the cash flows. This is one thing that I had to highlight over here. Like, what is it, or what is an issue? Now, this is one thing, you can keep in mind. The other thing let's talk about is a valuations part. Okay, agar if I take this if I take, there are 2 case scenarios, because these people have done around 100 crores odd in terms of 80 to 100 crores जिन्होंने किया है. Let me just check. Crizac ने कितना किया है? Yeah, almost your 46 plus 48, almost 100 crores in terms of PAT they have done in the first 1 year. Okay. Now over here, if see H2 is greater than that of H1, right? Because H2 में क्या होते हैं? Q3 में 30%, Q4 में 40%, right? Almost 70% of the revenue comes in H2, right? Only 30% of the revenue comes in H1. Now even if I take conservatively, like, भाई ये लोग, probably, maybe the year is not good for them. So 40, if they continue to do the same 50 crore run rate, for the upcoming 2 quarters, that's being very conservative. They will do 200 crores. And may, I'm taking a bullish case where, probably since H2 is greater than H1, these people might end up doing, 250 crore in terms of revenue. So if I take that with the current market cap, then the 1 year forward P will lie between somewhere between 22 to 28. Company can grow at somewhere between 25 to 30% kind of growth rate, and आपको 25 to 30% का growth rate मिल रहा है somewhere between 22 to 28, right? Now, if we have to put it in this case, right, when we spoke about this growth plus PE case, it clearly comes in this case one category, because आपका growth is higher, आपका growth is somewhere between 25 to 30, and the PE is somewhere between 22 to 27, right? So it comes up in this high growth, low PE category, okay? So the PE re-rating is possible over here. Like I told you, the PE re-rating, like I mentioned in that video, a shareholder will make money when a business goes from case 1 to case 2. And agar ye case 1 to case 2 mein jata hai, this is where the PE rating happens. And for this to happen, the execution has to be noted. Q2 ka execution has been top notch. It has been brilliant. If they continue to do the same, if the execution is seamless in Q3 as well as Q4, then why not? A PE ka re-rating bhi ho sakta hai yahan pe, right? That there is a higher possibility. Now we will talk about the risk. Okay, what are the risks associated with this business? Like, what are the red flags? Because not everything can be so hunky-dory. Like I told you, these people make money kahan se? Universities, right? The universities pay them. Now over here, if the universities are paying you, why are you not giving the date of universities? Matlab, I am associated with, let's say, if you are working with 90 universities, you should give na, matlab main 90 universities ke saath work kar raha hu, and this time the last year I was working with 90 universities, this time I'm working with 100 universities, because the more number of universities you work with, the more commission you're going to make. And if more number of universities you're working with, even more number of student applications you'll collect na, because a student, then you can cater for that one student, as many universities you can. So this is one thing that I didn't like about the model. The second thing is, like I told you, these people will not make money as long as that student pays the universities. They accept the offer letter and make a payment to the universities. These people give a data ki like unhone kitna application ko process kiya. But see, you could be processing 1000 application, but out of that 1000 applications, as long as those whoever the offer letter has been sent, until and unless they don't make the tuition fees, unless and until they don't accept that, they don't agree to enroll in that university, you won't make that money. So I think they should also give out the data of applications kitna process kiya, usme kitna enrollment hua, and how many of this enrollment got converted, right? I think this is very important, because that is the entire crux of the business model. So when that data is not there, I do not know how exactly will ki like you're efficient. I mean, just that sales growth number will not be enough over here. That efficiency ka bhi baat aata hai, to understand if the business is moving in the right direction. I believe that is also not visible over here. Okay, the other thing is iska jo, another why reason I'm telling is this because now think of the previous point to talk about it. Think about it ki like aap ek marketing agency ho, and somebody has some company has given you, let's say FMCG company has given you to performance marketing ke liye to convert performance marketing करने के लिए आपको एक एक काम देता है, ठीक है, so that they can have more sales. आपका आपने let's say performance marketing के लिए you have put out a reel, you have worked with an influencer, you have put out a reel, उसमें तो बराबर engagement, 5 million views, 5000 shares, 5000 likes, but by उस reels और उस like का कि मैं क्या करूं, when out of that 5 million people who have watched that reels, none of that 5 million people have gone to the website and bought the product. Understand? Like, there is a lot of difference between having that engagement, having that like on that reel, that comment on that reel. Something can go viral, and the entire marketing team is celebrating over there, but the sales team is like, bhai, I understand you're celebrating, but by sales kaha hai? Tumne to marketing kiya, engagement aaya, but nobody bought the product, right? Matlab, until and unless you don't buy the product, the company is not going to make money, irrespective of whatever viral moment you've had for a product, in the marketing team. So similarly over here, the marketing team over here is like application ko process karna. You can tell me you have processed 1 lakh applications, 2 lakh applications, right? So that is like marketing. Aapne ek reel ko viral banaya, but out of that 2 lakh kitna ko offer letter mila, and out of that offer letter, how many people accepted the offer letter and paid the universities? This is like aapka 5 million ka engagement hua ek reel mein, but how many of that 5 million viewers actually went to the website and bought the product? Because until you buy the product, product, that company won't make money. Similarly over here, until that student accepts it offer letter and makes the payment to the university, you don't make money. So that is what I'm telling. Like, I understand. Like, I think they told like, they can't give out the data because of, वही like competitors and everything, public information वो नहीं कर सकते. I think, I don't know, उनका वो कहना था, but still I think that is a bit important over here, to understand. That is my opinion, that is my view. You can have a different view. The second is like उनका geographical concentration is very very high. Like I told you, 90% of the colleges that they work with are based out of the UK. Now, as you know, US में अभी क्या हुआ है, you can see, right? Like, एक H1B का issue हुआ है. Because of that, obviously, right? Any student, now they might not prefer, or they might not want to go to US and study. Because think about it, a person is spending 30-40 lakhs, to go and study abroad, right? उसका क्या दिमाग होगा? He has to go there, stay there for 2 years at least, because most people take loan, to go and study. So they would want to go there and work there, and get rid of it. So यहाँ पे जब ऐसा सब, situation होता है, it becomes very very difficult, for the student over here. So कल जाके यूके में भी अगर ऐसा सिचुएशन होता है, then इनका पूरा का पूरा बिजनेस में इफेक्ट हो सकता है ना. नाउ इनका there is no effect from the US, because US में क्या होता है, इनका जो revenues आ रहे हैं from the US is less than 1%, so it wouldn't affect. And any negative news on US is positive for Crizac. Why? Because US is the first preferred destination for Indians. Second is UK. So अगर US में problem हो रहा है, where will the student shift from US to UK ना? So जो भी अभी US में चल रहा है, it is a positive, for Crizac. But having said that, ये 90% का geographical concentration होना, for from UK, that over the years, they should do something, where, they diversify, go to Australia, New Zealand, work with the universities there also. The third thing is ये commission based revenues में काम करता है. Now when I tell commission based revenues, what I'm trying to tell is, कि like I told you, right, जो भी tuition fees जो students देता है universities के लिए, उसका percentage they pay to Crizac. Okay. Now over here, what if tomorrow there can be some other platform that will come to the university and be like, bhai to Crizac ko kyun business de raha hai? Come and work with me. If Crizac is charging, for example, 5% of your tuition fees, I will charge only 3% of the tuition fees. If they come and tell that, then what is your competitive advantage? I mean, there is a high possibility they can do that now. And obviously college will make, more money by paying out less commission, right? So obviously it is a win-win for them. So I do not know कि like, इनका कोई वो competitive advantage है यहाँ पे, because of that commission based revenue. Like I don't think, there could be some sort of exclusive partnership that is there. I mean, I don't see how it can benefit the universities by going into an exclusive partnership or anything. I think this is another risk over here. You can tell me, probably they have like better application and everything, but you're at the end of the day, when you talk about applications also, you're playing the volume game. So I think it's very unlikely to do so. The other thing is student preference. Like now, this is what I'm going to tell, take it with a pinch of salt. This is my personal opinion over here. Why would a student want to go with an agency or anything? See, think about it. Or even why would universities want to be associated with an agent? Okay. Think about it. If you're like one of the best universities in the UK, like your London School of Economics, your Oxford, your Cambridge, or any of these people, right? Like, why would you want to be associated with an agent and give like 5 to whatever percentage of commission you want to give? Like, why would you want to sacrifice that, right? Because your college itself is a big brand, right? And people would want to apply to your college, through hell or not, right? They would go through anything to, just to take part in one of your enrollment courses. So I believe, यहाँ पे ये जो whichever universities that they're working with, I doubt, probably these people are like tier 2, tier 3 universities. I mean, something like that. I mean, I do not know. And this is just, I'm guessing could be like a tier 2, tier 3 universities, because sitting from India, sitting from China, abroad, jo bhi universities say, it will look very fancy. In Kannada, we have this proverb, like, Dura the betta kannige nonnage, which means anything that is far, it looks very fancy. It is only like, when you look at a hill from very far away, it looks very fancy. It's only and only when you climb the hill, you'll get to see, what kind of, you don't see that greenery, and you get to see what stones are there over there. So similarly over here, I believe, the colleges that are associated with, they might not have that brand power or anything, anything. Okay, there might be this tier 2, tier 3 colleges, who knows कि like भाई मुझे like international students से ज़्यादा पैसा मिलेगा compared to like normal students, right? Like if I have to hire like enroll somebody from the UK, शायद वो मुझे 5,000 pounds देगा per साल, but maybe if it's an international student, that will give them 10,000 pounds a year. So for them it is profitable to hire an international student. But unfortunately, many students might not apply in these universities because इनका credibility शायद उतना नहीं हो, right? Like how a London School of Economics, like how a New York University can have, right? So that is the thing. So maybe again, I'm just guessing it over here. I do not know because there is no information about this. So maybe that is there, so that is why it is working well. The other thing, like I told you, like student ka preference. So this is from that university side. The other thing is student preference. For someone like, think about it, right? Like I have gone through this process of applying for my master's and I've never gone through an agency. I don't want to extrapolate my opinion or like my experience and do so. But what I've seen from my own personal experience when I gave my GMAT, applied to NYU, applied to, like other universities in the US, and I have only taken help of my seniors and my college professors. And so has everybody in my batch, and, like, and my seniors have also done that route. Like I've never seen somebody go through an agency. What I've seen is a lot of people who go through all these agencies are the ones like who apply for this tier 2, tier 3 universities in the US, UK and all, because obviously there isn't much information available about them on their own website either, right? It's a lot of navigation involved. So that is the thing. The last thing is, like I told you, I don't think iska competitiveness kuch hai, because we might think like Crizac is the only listed player on this platform, but unlisted space mein itna kuch agencies hai that are doing the same sort of work, like what Crizac is doing, right? So I told you, right? So I think the competition in this is immense and there is no winning over here. It ultimately comes down to volume ka game, and that is clearly seen in that agent ka data, right? They have 13,500 agents, but out of that agents, hardly 4,000 people, 4,000 agents say unko application mil raha hai for the students. And like I told you, right, agents work for multiple platforms over here. The wo bhi hai, not just one platform. So यहाँ पे आपका जो business है, it is, there is no moat over here. You are also dependent on the agents, to get application from students. At the same time, you're also dependent on these colleges that are there, to get your commissions, right? And unless and until these colleges accept that student and that student makes the tuition fees, you won't get a commission and you won't make money. So that is there. So with this business model that I feel, it is a completely volume game. मतलब कितना ज़्यादा applications करोगे, कितना ज़्यादा enrollment होगा, उतना ज़्यादा like it will be. The demand is immense, obviously, because everybody wants to go abroad. Everybody is sold that everybody is sold the American dream that you go there, you work there, you take a loan and you work over there. Within 2 years you'll be able to get rid of that loan, you'll have a great life. Everybody falls to that trap that is there, and it's the entire study abroad experience is made to look fancy, and because of that student keeps going over there. So the demand is there. I'm not lying about the demand. I understand when nobody is lying about the demand over there. The company is not lying about the demand, because you can see that even in your reality, right? Everybody wants to go abroad and study, because of the fancy dreams that we've sold. But it's just that inherently I feel something with the business model, like with the risk that I mentioned, like I think you can literally sense it, right? Like I do not know, there are a lot of things that are not clear, you can tell. Now आगे जाके इनका plan क्या है? How do they plan to grow into this, not just this 25 to 30%? How do they plan to grow? First thing is, like right now, like I told you, 90% of the revenues that is there, it is coming from UK. Now they're planning to reduce the dependency on UK and move towards Australia, New Zealand, Ireland and Middle East. इन्होंने UAE में भी और एक subsidiary खोला है, Crizac UAE बोल के, because now you might have seen a lot of these American universities that are there. They've put up उनका universities even in the Middle East. Like you will, I think NYU ka Tandon School of Engineering, I think it is also there in UAE. They've opened a small campus over there. So that is why so people can go to the, if they can't afford to the US, they can go to the UAE and study. And this is how they want to also start attacking the US category also. The second thing is they want to eventually go into expansion in services. When I tell expansion in services, like I told you, right now these people only work by providing admission, right? Sirf admissions ka kaam karte. They don't help in transportation, financing the tuition fees, nothing. Aage jaake these people want to provide a plethora of services where they not only want to help you with tuitions, visa ka, housing का, transportation का एक student के लिए, ये सब करके, they want to help it. Even not just that, tuitions के लिए भी, because think about it, right? Whenever a student from India, they want to go study abroad, एक साल का शायद 15-20 lakhs लगते हैं totally for a 2-year program, which is most of the time the case. It will cost them somewhere between 30 to 50 lakhs. Okay, and most people go for the option of debt या loan में जाता है. Now it, for a student, obviously, going for a loan and experience, it can be daunting. If they have some help, it will be great. So these people are working with NBFCs, where NBFCs and various banks, where they can act as an intermediary to connect the students as well as, the banks and NBFCs, and make this process a bit seamless for the student. And I think Inco already, I think 7-8 NBFC, 7-8, I think probably banks and NBFC से कुछ approval मिला है. I think we'll get to know more about it, in the upcoming quarters. And the last thing is वही, as of now, you can see 50% of the revenue, 50% not revenue, sorry, 50% of the students, who are in their platform, जिसका application उनको मिल रहा है, that is coming from India, right? आगे जाके they want to diversify this also. They want to start, because if you look at it right now, even in other countries, this going abroad जाके पढ़ने का एक trend आ चुका है. So they want to start catering there also, like Vietnam, Malaysia and Singapore is where they see like this kind of interest happening. So not just in India but other countries also, they want to employ the agents over there and start working in the other countries also. So these are the 3 ways where they're planning to do the penetrate and get the volume growth. And यहाँ पे थोड़ा product mix अगर ये होता है ना, and provided that probably if these 3, all of these services, if they have a higher margin, then the product mix can change better. Then EBITDA margins आपका ज्यादा हो सकता है, PAT margin ज्यादा हो सकता है, operating leverage और भी ज्यादा मिल सकते हैं, provided that the services that they're entering into, that is financing, helping in terms of financing the tuition fees, accommodation, visa processing में अगर ये जा रहा है, and provided that these services are higher margin compared to this admission का process, then only we can tell the product mix का change is good. But as of now, we do not know what is the margin in these kind of in these categories. So very hard to tell right now. Okay, so that is that about Crizac. I will leave it up to you all to make a decision ki like क्या करना चाहते हो आप लोग, whether you want to like whether you see it as a good opportunities, whether you whether you don't like the business, whether you don't want to invest over here, it's up to you. मेरा काम है whenever a new opportunity comes up, I really like and analyzing a lot of this new business model. मुझे अच्छा लगता है पढ़ने में and I get an anxiety when I don't read actually. So that is the thing, and I like to share what I read with you guys, right? So that is the thing. So yeah, I hope everybody understood कि like ये क्या करता है, कैसे करता है. I think this one video will give you an entire entire depth about what is happening with the business. So that's it, guys. That's it about Crizac. Interesting business model, but I think for me, I see there are a lot of loopholes over here, like a know-how is missing, the link is missing a little bit. That is that. So that's that. And if you haven't already bought the investment checklist workshop, make sure you do, because Diwali is all about, again, defeating darkness with light. And make sure this time, at least this Diwali, you take the responsibility of your portfolio, learn how to analyze the companies, read about it, and try to defeat ignorance with knowledge, right? Ignorance is not bliss, right? So defeat ignorance with knowledge, get the investment checklist workshop, and make your life easier. So that's it, guys, about Crizac. And I will do another video today. Actually, it will be a general video. I saw that you guys really loved that growth and PE ka combination that is there. So I'm going to connect another thing like growth and inventory ke bare mein, and I will make another video. And that's that. Have a nice day. Bye.